This just in, Kareem Hunt has been placed on the commissioner exempt list. He's looking like he's not going to play week 13 and is in danger of missing several more games. Let's go on to the picks. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. These are my NFL DFS picks for week 13. For the best waiver wire videos, DFS picks, draft videos, and of course, the best fantasy football live streams, make sure you guys subscribe and hit that bell icon so you won't miss anything. Now on to the picks. I'll try to avoid super obvious picks in this video. I will mention them but not go into great detail. I'm gonna go over more of must-haves for cash games, chalk, my favorite contrarian picks, and super cheap, super good value picks. Starting off with quarterbacks, Mahomes is ranked as my #1 quarterback. He's just the best. There's really no way around this, and the Chiefs should be able to put up a ton of points against the Raiders. Kareem Hunt being out, I suppose, does increase Patrick Mahomes' value. He's going to need to throw the ball a lot more to Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. My #2 ranked quarterback is Cam Newton. There's just so many ways he's going to put up points, whether he's throwing to DJ Moore, Olsen, Christian McCaffrey, or running it in himself, going against the Buccaneers. Could be a little bit of a shootout here. I love him this week. And the #1 most expensive quarterback is Mahomes, and the #2 most expensive quarterback is Cam Newton. So that's why they're super obvious picks. I like Andrew Luck because of his price, only $5,800. If you are considering starting Andrew Luck, make sure you keep tabs on Jalen Ramsey's health. If Jalen Ramsey is out, I really like Luck this week, and if he's playing, Luck is good. Probably the most consistent, most reliable quarterback in fantasy. I guess other than Mahomes, of course, because that guy's putting up astronomical numbers. I have Brady purely as a GPP pick. Not a lot of faith in him. Not a lot of trust in him. Basically, I'm assuming not too many people will pick him, and that's really the only reason I would consider picking Brady. And I actually have my favorite quarterback for GPPs is Matt Ryan. Now, I wanted to make clear that Matt Ryan is pretty cheap on DraftKings, but super expensive on FanDuel. I think he might be the 3rd most expensive quarterback, something like that. He's basically premium price, like one of the top price QBs. So I like him in both. Like if you're in a cash game on FanDuel, like it's stupid to pick Matt Ryan. He's not, like, the value is not there, the risk is there. He has a horrible matchup against the Ravens. But on DraftKings, in a cash game, that's not so horrible. Probably wouldn't be the guy I would pick, but his price is super cheap. Now, talking GPP, I love this pick in both formats. In FanDuel, he'd probably be a little bit less owned because of his price tag. On DraftKings, I think he'll be more owned, but not that much. I don't know, maybe 10% owned, maybe less than that. The matchup screams, don't pick me, but peep this, guys. Matt Ryan has been very good this year. He's still pretty underrated. The defense hasn't been playing well, so it's basically been up to Matt Ryan to make it happen. Also, the run game is not really there. At least not as it used to be last year or a couple years before when Kyle Shanahan was there and they made the Super Bowl run. It's just not there. And Matt Ryan throwing 300 yards every game, it seems like, and playing so well. I think he'll have a good game against the Ravens. The risk is there, though. But $5,600, man, that's super cheap and contrarian. My favorite GPP pick. Some cheaper options. Kirk Cousins, I like him. He's actually, what's crazy is he's been better in away games. Away games putting up 25.6 points on DK, and home games putting up 19.5 points. That's pretty impressive, and he's playing away in New England. It'll be tough, but I think he'll play well because he'll have to keep up with Tom Brady and the Patriots. They're going to be throwing the ball. I like Kirk Cousins. I like the price tag. For cheaper quarterbacks, a lot of people will be on Derek Carr. Look, it's simple math. The Chiefs defense, I'm just like kind of quoting what the masses are going to be thinking. Chiefs D, not that good. Derek Carr, he's going to need to throw the ball. Blah, 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 blah. But Derek Carr has actually never put up good numbers ever this year, except maybe one game. And that's ancient history when, that's looking at it, week 4, Amari Cooper was probably on the team back then. Yeah, I mean, he's just not been that good. And I'm going to stay away from him. I feel like people are going to think it's a contrarian pick. But no, it's not going to be a contrarian pick. I like some cheaper options. I like Chase Daniel. And on the podcast last week, if you guys listen to the podcast, I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's the second YouTube channel we have, Fantasy Couch Podcast. Check that out. My co-host, Mike Mattal, was talking about Chase Daniel, how this guy can air the ball out a little bit. And knowing Matt Nagy, I think he's a little bit aggressive. It reminds me a little bit of Sean McVay. And maybe they do air the ball out. Now, upside, I don't think is there that much. I just don't think this is that high scoring of a game. But during the podcast, we went over and looked at the NFL lines, and I think the over-under is at about 44, 44 and a half, which isn't terrible. It's not high, but it's not terrible. And hey, if you guys want a contrarian cheap pick, it's Chase Daniel. Actually, another quarterback I like even more is not Nick Mullins. It's Cody Kessler. I can't even find him. He's hidden someplace. There he is. Cody Kessler going against the Colts at home in Jacksonville. They're going to need to throw the ball to keep up with Luck. And I don't see Kessler being any worse than Bortles. I don't think that's going to happen. No way. I think he'll do okay. And for this price tag, he is the best, absolute best punt at quarterback. Moving on to running backs. Exact same scenario as with quarterbacks. My number 1 ranked running back is Todd Gurley. He's the most expensive running back. And number 2 is Christian McCaffrey. Like exactly the same when I was talking about Cam Newton at number 2 and Patrick Mahomes at number 1. And the prices match their rankings. Some more options that might be okay. David Johnson, I see him being a contrarian pick at 7,400. Joe Mixon at 7,300, not too bad. But who I like even more than both those guys is Aaron Jones. I was about to say Aaron Chubb. No, Aaron Jones. I have a gut feeling this guy is going to beast, and we're going to see his best game ever. And we've been saying this for a while. Look, he did good against the Dolphins. He did good against the Seahawks. Did okay against the Vikings. Mediocre. And I think this is the game for him. Man, I'm picking Aaron Jones in both formats, GPP and cash. Moving on, we're going to be scrolling quite a bit to 4,800. Gus Edwards, he's questionable, but I don't believe that. Try to fool me with this questionable tag. Great matchup going against the Falcons. I just read that Deion Jones is coming back from injury, so that helps the Falcons D. But first game back, and one player may not make a big difference. I love Gus Edwards. Of course, keep track of his injury status. Also keep track of Alex Collins' injury as well. Lamar Miller is sort of like a high floor guy, more of a RB2, you know, nothing special. May not want to pick him in GPPs. If he doesn't get multiple touchdowns, he probably won't do that well. But priced at 4,600 with a decent matchup, I kind of like that. What are the Browns ranked against running backs? I'm sure they're pretty bad. Where was it? Okay, 27th. Yeah, that's pretty bad. What is that? 5th worst, 6th worst in the league? That's pretty bad. So that's a good matchup for Lamar Miller. And the price is super cheap. Now, expecting that Kareem Hunt is out, very likely to be out. Spencer Ware is chalk. It's time to eat the chalk on this one. Priced at 4,000. I had Kareem Hunt as probably I could have seen him be the best running back this week. Like, he could be top, whether he's your top 3 or top 5. And now that he's out, Spencer Ware should be able to put up similar numbers to what Kareem Hunt would have done. And there's even less competition now at the running back position with one of the guys out, assuming Kareem Hunt is going to be out. The price is nearly minimum price. Going against the Raiders, the Chiefs should have a formidable lead. I see the lead being like 3 touchdowns, and it should be a lot of run plays for Spencer Ware in the second half of this game. I love him in all formats. Eat the chalk. A little bit cheaper. I just wanted to provide you guys a couple more picks. Peyton Barber, his price hasn't really caught up to his production. His production hasn't been good or anything, but I mean, $3,700 minimum price for starting running back. That's, I mean, where else are you gonna find that? I know it's kind of weird. Like, that is super cheap, especially if Ronald Jones is out. That way you don't risk the Bucks going like, all right, let's see what this guy has finally. You don't risk that happening because Ronald Jones didn't even play last week. So if Ronald Jones is out again, Peyton Barber gets a boost. That price is just super cheap. The Panthers defense is okay, but they're not like shutting down the opposing offenses. I mean, they're good against running backs, but I still think there's enough room for Peyton Barber to reach value. Wow, breaking news. I just got breaking news. Oh, man. Wow, breaking news. All right, I just got during this video, Kareem Hunt is no longer on the Chiefs. He has been released. I gotta tweet this out. Hold on. Okay, just had to go tweet an Instagram post that Kareem Hunt's getting released. Wow, big news. Okay, and moving on, I think a good GPP pick is Rashad Penny. This is a super risky, super big punt. Rashad Penny priced at $3,500. Supposed to see more work, and that's all the info we have. Moving on to wide receivers. My number one wide receiver is Adam Thielen. But now that I'm thinking of it, all this news coming out, maybe Tyreek Hill gets a boost, and that price tag at $9,100 just might be worth it. I don't know, but I do like Adam Thielen this week. Going against the Patriots, priced at only $8,000. Still, whatever. My number one wide receiver, maybe number two. Still, the price is right for Adam Thielen. Of course, I wrote down Julio Jones because if you're stacking a wide receiver with Matt Ryan, it's got to be Julio. I think that's really no other choice. And the Ravens D is really good, but they do blitz a lot and they focus a lot on stopping the run and putting pressure on the quarterback. And I think Julio Jones will be able to beat his man, whoever it might be, defending him, especially if it's one-on-one. You can't defend Julio Jones. Brandon Cooks or Robert Woods, which one do you go with? I think it's so dang close and there's really no way to know. I'd say that Robert Woods has more safety while Cooks has more upside. I'll put it like that. Other than that, they're about the same, and their price is only $100 apart. They're priced almost identical. For a good, nice pick that's going to bring back value, I like is Emmanuel Sanders. Good floor, good ceiling. He'll be getting a lot of targets. The matchup is right. He's really the only productive wide receiver on the Broncos. I like it, man. 6,300. I feel like it's worth paying up a little bit. Even that's not even that expensive. Yeah, I just feel like it's a great value wide receiver. For GPPs, I'm going with Jarvis Landry. The best wide receiver, the best receiver, period, on the Browns is still Jarvis Landry. He's having a down year. He's basically been a bust, but this could be the game where he does better. My trust in Jarvis Landry is pretty much close to zero at this point. That's why you shouldn't even consider him at all in a cash game, but in a tournament play, he's not going to be owned, especially after the dud he put up last week. And people see the Texans D, they get scared. The price is okay. Man, I'm picking him in 1 or 2 GPP lineups. Call me crazy, call me stupid, but I'm going to do it to see what's up with him. Baker Mayfield has been playing well. And kind of like how we just talked about Cooks and Woods, I do want to talk about these wide receivers priced at $4,500. That's Westbrook versus Moncrief, and they're both priced at $4,500. Moncrief's going to be the one that's going to be owned. It's going to be a revenge game. No, I don't like it. I like Westbrook more. He's not going to be as owned, and I think he has a better matchup. I think he'll do better against the Colts. Now, I'm not really, I'm not saying that I think Westbrook's way better, but I think it's so close and everyone's going to go towards Moncrief and pick Moncrief in both formats, cash and GPP, that Westbrook's going to be overlooked. He's not going to be owned, and Kessler's going to have to throw the ball. I love Westbrook. I would fade Moncrief just because of this, just because people are going to get excited about this revenge game. I don't think this revenge game script has been working this year. Maybe it worked a little bit last year, and then it worked a lot back in the days, but not too many good revenge games have worked. That strategy hasn't worked this year, guys. And some more options with Deshaun Jackson out. You could go with Humphries. Was Humphries priced at 4,200? Or I actually really like Godwin, and he's priced only at 3,900. I think Godwin will take over more so the Deshaun Jackson role, so to speak. I'm not saying they play the exact same way or anything, but I really like Godwin and his price at 3,900. I think people will flock a little bit more towards Humphries because he had a better game last week, but I don't think there's a huge difference between the two. I'd rather go with the cheaper one. And like I said, Deshaun Jackson is out. That has been confirmed. Godwin price at 3,900, man, that's super cheap. And if you want a stupid punt, pick a Raiders wide receiver. Maybe one like Marcel Aitman, who's been getting targets somehow. What is he? Look, Week 11, 5 targets. Week 12, 10 targets. Week 13, 15 targets? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Stupid punt. You guys want a stupid punt? Well, there you have it. A Raiders wide receiver. For tight ends, Kelsey is the best tight end to own, but the price is way too expensive. Still could be worth it, though, if you're able to make stuff fit like a Spencer Ware, or like I said, Godwin. Even Humphries is cheap. I don't know. You can make it work and get Kelsey, highest upside, highest floor. Me, I'm looking for a little bit cheaper here. I'm looking a little bit for an Eric Ebron per se, 4,200. Who's the other tight end? Mo Ali Cox, I think he's out. And we all know Jack Doyle's been placed on IR. He's not playing. So I love Eric Ebron. Good matchup. Andrew Luck has been on fire. One of the best quarterbacks. Playing at an elite level this year. Super consistent. He's going to do well even against the Jaguars, who actually haven't been playing that well this year on defense, nor on offense. I like Eric Ebron. The price is right. Everything's right with this pick. For some contrarian GPP picks, we have Jimmy Graham. He has a questionable tag, priced at 4,000. Hasn't been playing that well, and I think a lot of people won't own him. They would rather own Brait, I think. Brait price at 3,700, super cheap, man. And then we have Rudolph purely as a contrarian pick and nothing more than that. He is extremely touchdown reliant, priced at 3,600, going against the Patriots. And my punt of the century, who actually picked, I was surprised I picked him in one lineup last week. Matt Lacoste, priced at 2,500. People that dibble and dabble and don't play too much fantasy won't pick him, don't know much about him. But unfortunately for us, people that do play a lot of fantasy really love DFS. They know about Matt Lacoste. But he's still not going to be that popular. And price at 2,500, that is super cheap. All the other tight ends for the Broncos are injured, and Matt Lacoste did pan out. What did he do? 12.4 fantasy points and got a touchdown. 4 targets last week. So I expect about 4 or 5 targets. And I'll put it like this: if you're not a believer in Sutton, then you got to be at least a semi-believer in Lacoste, because they have to throw to somebody. Sure, they'll throw to the running back a little bit. They'll throw to Lindsey, maybe Booker a couple times. They're going to throw a lot to Sanders, but they don't really use a third wide receiver. Demaryius Thomas is gone. Sutton has been a bust. So if you're not going to pick Sutton at all, you might as well pick Matt Lacoste, 2,500. That's super cheap. A minimum price. That's a super punt. For defenses, there are tons of defenses to pick, and that's why I'd rather just go with a cheap option. You could go with the Seahawks, you could go with the Bears, Titans, Bills, Ravens if you want to be risky. Packers I like a lot going against the Cardinals. You can go with the Dolphins defense priced at 2,700. They're favored to win this game and should be a low scoring game. Not a bad pick. They're cheap. You could go Texans if you dare. That's super risky. I think I might go with a cheap option like the Rams priced at 2,600 going against the Lions. Look, Kerryon Johnson has been ruled out. Marvin Jones out for the year. Golden Tate traded away. So they lose their best running back and they lose their best 2 wide receivers. They also lost Eric Ebron in the offseason. What else do I need to say? Like, this is great. And also, Aqib Talib might be back this week. Keep tabs on that. If he's back and healthy, oh boy, it's going to be bad for the Lions. The Rams priced only at 2,600. You can't really go wrong because even if they do bad, I'm sure other defenses that are more expensive would do bad as well. That's a super cheap price for me. Some other options are the Colts going against the Jags, priced at 2,600. And for some of you that like the cheap options, Patriots going against the Vikings, Browns at 2,300 going against the Texans, and Vikings going against the Patriots at 2,100. It's been hectic with all the Kareem Hunt news, and as you can see, we moved away from crypto fantasy sports. I still play on there, but we're going to be just doing FanDuel and DraftKings videos only. I'm doing the best I can with these DFS picks. I did promise you guys 5 t-shirts on the last video, so I'm just going to make it simple. I'm going to pick 5 random winners. If you just comment below any question, it could be season long, it could be DFS. Just use hashtag AskTheBrain, and I'll pick 5 random comments that use hashtag AskTheBrain, and each one of you will win a Fantasy Couch t-shirt. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I'm living the dream, and it's all thanks to you guys. I appreciate all the support. Make sure you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch. You can hit this couch icon over here. Someplace you should see, yeah, over here, yeah. And also subscribe to the Fantasy Couch podcast. We have a second channel. You guys have to subscribe to that one as well, or else I don't know. What are you doing in life? Make sure you guys like this video or dislike it if you didn't like it. I wish you guys good luck this week in fantasy, and I'll catch you on the next video / live stream.